let's continue our conversations. It's a budget time, and it's a time when we're talking about everything else. Tomorrow, the finance bill goes to the third reading in the National Assembly. Third reading is the important one because that is where it is passed with amendments, without amendments, or whatever. Now, finance bill was discussed last week. Yeah. It was a report of the finance committee that was brought to the National Assembly, and the report of the finance committee was recommending adoption and deletion of some of the proposals in the finance bill itself. Members of Parliament voted yes to adopt the report of the finance committee. They did not vote yes to the finance bill. Let's all be clear. So tomorrow, members of Parliament will now be discussing that finance bill and the proposed amendments, where they'll be going clause by clause, and in the end, they vote. That happens in the National Assembly. But we're joined by a senator who is a member of the Senate Finance and Budget Committee. Actually, she's the vice chair of the Senate Finance and Budget Committee in the Senate. The Honorable Senator Tabitha Mutinda Munene is our guest. Good morning, Senator.
Good morning.
Good to have you again here.
Nice.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
This is Kenya's biggest conversation. Mali tulituacha. Tuko hapa.
Bado tuko.
Naona mko salama.
Bado tuko hapa.
It is great.
The last time you were here,
Yeah.
you were talking about your report of your committee.
Yeah.
And the recommendations that it had on the division of revenue.
Correct.
You took your report to the House.
Yeah.
And members voted to reject your report.
Correct.
Now you'll explain to all and sundry what that means. But to welcome you, CT Wamashati is here with a Kenyan shirt and a Kenyan proverb.
Try this bracelet. If it fits you, wear it. But if it hurts you, throw it away, no matter how shiny.
Try this bracelet. If it fits you, wear it. But if it hurts, throw it away, no matter how shiny.
Yes.
What's your interpretation of that?
Life is about happiness. It's about what makes you happy, what makes you comfortable. The struggles we go through, the hustle we go through to make an income, to make a living, is at the end of the day to be happy. So then why subject yourself to pain? So my interpretation is there's no need for pain. Be comfortable. So if the bracelet is too, get what fits you, what makes you comfortable, what gives you a smile, what gives you a laughter, because these are some of the things you won't go to any particular shop and buy a smile, buy a laughter, buy happiness. It comes from you. If the pain is too much, you need to detach from it.
I am not here to suffer.
Yes.
I am not here. I'm here for the soft life. Okay? If sufferation comes your way, reject it. Say no.
I seem to have taken CT into thoughts of the next subject in future.
He's actually looking through all these things in life and wondering.
He's thinking, which one can I get rid of?
I'm dropping them one by one.
Actually, you're actually spot on. And I'm thinking that some of the things that have benefited me the most have not been the pleasurable things. But the things that have caused me pain, they're the ones which have, in the long run, benefited me the most. I've come out of them having gleaned a lot more and probably grown. That's where my mind went to. So you're right. My mind did travel quite a bit.
Good.
And that's the conclusion I arrived at.
Yeah.
Yes.
That no, you don't agree with this.
No, it's not agreeing. Yeah. You see, Mheshimiwa is talking about her lived experience. And I'm talking about mine. So her lived experience may have brought her to that conclusion, and she would be right. I am talking about my lived experience. And that's what I have gleaned, and that's what has brought me to the conclusion that I have mentioned.
Just to add to that, CT, like any outcome or goal which is supposed to be positive, yes, there's turbulence, but it's one thing for you to identify the turbulence or the pain, and it's another to give a solution to the pain, because through that solution, then the end result is the goal that needs to be achieved. And like any goal that is set, should be a positive goal.
Actually, you're spot on. And my conclusion in that was a lot of the suffering has to do with the way I look at it. My perception of it, or the narrative that I have in explaining it, is what makes it what it is. So if my narrative changes, it also changes.
Things change.
Yes, they change.
It's the fluidity of life. Okay. Senator,
Yes.
let's start with that bit of education. So your committee receives the Division of Revenue Bill. Your committee looks at it, looks at the recommendation therein, and you look at very many other factors. You listen to the public, you listen to counties, and you come up with a recommendation for a different figure. And you take it to the floor of the House, and senators, a majority voted no. What did that mean?
One, there's always a parliamentary process. And that parliamentary process is a process that is not skippable. And like any other committee, we did public participation. We received concerns, adjustments from the different stakeholders that we gave a platform to. And in our wisdom as a committee, then, as I mentioned last time that I was here, is that part of the additional funds that we advised and we included were monies like the medical equipment funds that were costing 5.86 billion, the money for the libraries, and different funds that we felt that apart from the 385, I mean from 370 to 385, there was 15 billion addition.
Yeah.
Then there was other funds that we felt they need now to be incorporated into the equitable share, so that now it gives us 407. And that was our view as a committee.
Yeah.
And like any other process, okay, when the amendments are brought to the floor of the House, then members are, the report is there. Members now do their voting by making their decision. So that process took place because ours is to represent and bring out the report. And they still advised for the 385. What am I trying to say? What I'm trying to communicate is that it was not our decision alone. An indication that even through the what is happening with the finance bill, it is not the chairman's decision alone or the committee decision alone. It is a team that has been mandated to be able to undertake the process. Then it still comes to the floor of the House. So same case to Dora. That is a process that took place. And members felt, no, let us still adjust and go to 385. What were the concerns? Some of the concerns that had been raised were the huge pending bills in these different counties that are there. There's actually 80%, 90% they have still pending bills. And the question that members on the floor were concerned was then why do we still want to keep on adding money? Why are you suggesting we keep on adding money, yet we have issues? We have projects that are still not completed, yet funds had been remitted. We still have pending bills. Then why don't we encourage much more in on-source revenue by these counties, unlike just giving them the comfort of adding them the money? So at this particular time, they felt we've already increased 15 billion. Knowing where we are, those were the concerns, those were the replies. Knowing where we are, so let us see first what they do with the addition of the 15 billion. Then in the next financial year, then we can be able to discuss further. What does this say? This clearly indicates that members still in the House have the final say. And it's them coming together and deciding the way forward. The same way the finance bill is undertaking and is taking shape by it going back, and it's on the second reading, and there are discussions, debate on it, and then at the time that the speaker will decide now to put the question for now the voting part, then that takes place depending on the satisfaction of the members. So Dora took a normal process. I am very happy that as a first-time legislator, I've had an opportunity to be able to participate in this particular bill, which is a very key bill because it's annual. Among others, which I'm happy, as a new legislator, to have given myself time to understand the different bills within Senate. We have the county additional revenue, we have equalization fund, we still have what we call equalization administration fund. These are funds that are for the marginal areas. In a layman language is pale mashinani, like that ka village, because in every county, every constituency, every ward, we still have a ka village.
That is marginalized.
That is very marginalized. Like you go to this, you wonder, are we in Kenya? Yes, we are. So these are monies that are supposed to be able to improve that village. But on 4 areas, the water issue, there's electricity, there's road and health matters. So they are specific, so that this person does not need, like a place like Turkana, you can imagine a mother who's maybe pregnant and all that and has to move kilometers. So this fund is supposed to be able to improve in those 4 areas. We have the county allocation formula that we as the finance does really concentrate and discuss, among other funds within the different counties.
See, Mheshimiwa, when you were in the committee, and because you were members of the committee and you had to deal with this particular bill,
yes,
you interacted with it clause by clause.
Correct.
You listened to the people, so you internalized the bill yourself.
Yes.
Do you think all senators, even by the time it's brought to the floor of the House, internalize the bill? Now, don't answer that because you're a senator and you don't want to say this. Let's say, do you think tomorrow, for example, when 349 members of parliament form a committee of the whole House and they start discussing the finance bill, that all members, from your limited experience so far, all members will have internalized with every aspect of the finance bill by the time they're voting?
It's a very good question, by the way. It's a good question. Members of parliament are the representative of the people. And in our first roles, when we say what is our role, apart from the legislation and oversight, it is representation. What does representation require you to do? It requires you to be equipped with the information of discussion, information on table. Why do I say like that? I say like that because Mwananchi will not come from out there to come into the House and do a contribution. It is me who's supposed to do. Further to that, that is why in Parliament, one thing that I give credit 100% to Parliament is they equip, there's so much capital in terms of the staff. And further to that, even us, we are given staff. Why do we have the staff? Is it because I want to turn like this and you give me a cup of tea? I want to turn like this and you give me a cup of water? It's so that they can be able to help us on our work of representation, legislation, and oversight. Why did I start there? I started there so that to indicate Parliament is so equipped in such a way that we have the digital gadget. Even as much as you want me to skip on Dora, the bill, any bill subject of discussion, is on the soft.
It's actually available on the screen in front of every member.
On the screen, on hard copy, and at any time, we have what we call the library. At any time you need any bill, at any particular time, it is always available. Even in the National Assembly, all that information is there. It is your responsibility to be able to sit down and have a look at it, be able to read it and be able to understand and be able to raise the concerns that you need to read. Further to that, you can have the legal team coming in and being able to take you through. And I can attest that any time it's a phone call, that's the advantage in Parliament. It's about dedication. It's about putting your time completely. So the question of the 349, will they have time to look? Let's be fair and let's be factual. We are not reading it as a chorus. We are not reciting a poem. We, personally, I have, on this National Assembly, I have everything. I have the information, I have all that is needed, and it's my duty to be able to go through and be able to look at it. Yes, there's the question of then the contribution, the deliberating on the bill. Let me tell you, as we speak right now, on our side in Senate, my bill is going on. That is the agricultural extension bill, agricultural livestock extension services bill. And this particular bill, members are allowed to contribute. What happens in the dashboard of the speaker? If Senator A or Member of Parliament A, B, C, D, they've contributed. So the next, as we finish, because the House closes at 6:30, so the bill is forwarded to the next day. So there's what we call resumption of, debate. So the next day, what happens is that priority is mostly given to members who have not contributed. So the ones who have contributed, already the dashboard will show, and so the new members. Until the point that the speaker will see that all members have contributed, there is nobody now who's there to contribute, then he goes to the final part of put the question. Why am I explaining like that? Because there are members who are claiming, there's not enough time, we've not been given time. But did you press the button on time to be given? Did you stay in the house to wait for your turn to be able to speak? The other time, as you clearly watched, National Assembly stayed longer, up to about 10 p.m. Members, you have to sacrifice your time. Diligently being there, trying to make their contribution, make their voices to be heard. And so it is at that particular moment at the end when the speaker will rule and say, now we can put the question, when everybody has been given a chance. And it's at that time when the speaker says, in my dashboard, I still see we have people who are interested to be able to contribute. And because time has lapsed and everything, so the debate will continue tomorrow. If I remember clearly, the speaker in the National Assembly, Senator Wetangula, said that we can even discuss for 1 week. There's no limitation. The only limitation, yes, that is there is the timeline for the bill. That one we agree. But still, there's also the agreement of the time, like every participant or every member can just use 3 minutes to contribute or 5 minutes. So members agree.
So you allocate enough time. Exactly.
Like with 349, and we know most of them have contributed. The other remaining number, you quantify and say, give each member 3 minutes. How many hours do we need? So those hours then can be distributed within 2 days or 3 days, and everybody will contribute.
You can even extend the sitting hours.
Correct, even to midnight.
Like they did
there's
last
no problem.
week.
Up to
so
10
that
p.m.
members can sit longer. So the thing is, there's no excuse for any member to be in that house without having read and internalized any bill, and in particular, this finance bill, because it's important. It's about taxation. Representation without taxation is wrong.
Okay. Senator, the way you've explained this, I feel almost as though we may be living worlds apart, because everything that a member of parliament needs has been given. The situations have been made so conducive that short of somebody reading it for you and then chewing it up and regurgitate and saying, here, please, now all you must do is swallow. So almost as though there's no reason why you should not know all of this. So one will assume, okay, fine, everybody has read it, understood it, been able to consume it, and then it can come out, right? But then we still see that it would appear as though when it comes to the very act of putting your voice behind a vote, that it is not on this information that you should have ingested. It is more along the lines where you fall politically. Why is that always the case?
A very good question. And let me start by responding where I left, at the point of where I've clearly indicated that members normally have equal opportunity. We saw last week that our colleagues walked out during these debates, and they walked out to do what they best do. I don't know why actually you sometimes call me alone, but we should have the other side just there so that they don't feel they're vindicated. But what they do best, the maandamano strategy, is what they continue doing, knowing that very well that is not part of our role. There's nowhere we say representation, oversight, legislation. We don't say then picketing within Parliament. It is, yes, within the Constitution, but not within Parliament, not within the House. So what they do best, then they go out and start picketing. Why? As you ask, political, to be able to please the political leaders. Let me appraise actually a few members from the opposition who have come out broadly and stated that, for me, I'll do my own personal decision, because it's for me who I talk to the people, and the people gave me that opportunity to represent them. So they've said that they will make their own decision. They will vote. Actually, some of them have said they will vote yes, because they understand. And why they understand is, this is where the difference is. Because they've not allowed two groups. One, their party leader, to read for them the bill and give them instructions. They've taken the initiative. They've been able to look at some of the areas. They've been able to acknowledge that this particular sector, which we'll be able to mention, these particular areas, they are okay. They are fine. But these particular areas is where we have a problem. And that is still okay. That is still okay, because it is at the point that you are able to identify a problem, then you are able to put a solution. What is the point of picketing and making noise, and then when you ask, what is the problem? The only thing that is rotating, the one factor, so sad, is the housing factor, which also the media has played part in it. Media has played part in this bill, trying to narrow, but it's until we voiced it out in the different medias that have also been able to be, and said, kindly media, there's no cost of commodity A that has a price for the Western people, and that has a price for the Rift Valley people, or for the Eastern people. No, all these costs affect all of us as a country, as a people. But now, where it is, the media had narrowed it to, so-and-so said they are not going to remove a comma nor a full stop. And now we want to narrow the debate to commas and full stops. It's until now, at least end of last week and this week, we are trying to discuss facts. We are trying to tell Kenyans the truth of
You're going into the substance of it.
Exactly,
and what
the
are
actual
these
of it.
facts, Mheshimiwa?
These are facts of, in terms of, when we talk about this percentage in this, what are we talking about? What is the benefit? What is the disadvantage? Where is the pain? And where is the win at the end of the day? Those are the actuals.
And do you think these things actually matter to the Mwananchi? These facts that we speak of, do you think it actually matters to them? Is it something of concern to them?
It is a very great concern to the Mwananchi, because it's not just about us and chest thumping and deciding this is how things are going to be done. It is for all of us, and that's why I've said the cost of any commodity, like the common commodity like unga, there's no price of unga for me and you. There's price of unga for us. When we go and we're choosing soko, jogo, and all that, it's not written, this is 100 for city, and this is 200 for mutinda. No, it's then you narrow to your preference depending on your cost and your affordability. But at the end of the day, it affects all of us. And this bill affects all of us.
But it affects us differently. You see, the clarion call and the pitch that Kenya Kwanza had, and which resonated with very many people, it is argued is what got them elected. It was a platform for making essentially life easier, simpler, affordable. Now, the issue that we are talking about with regards to the bill, when we talk about the facts, do they address the issue that the Mwananchi says is affecting them? Does it make life affordable for them? Does it make the cost of living affordable for them?
Very good question. I hope I'd finished and pointed out where we had really narrowed the discussion of the bill to and all that and all those things. Now to the Mwananchi. Let me state that one of the key things that we did as Kenya Kwanza during the campaign period was to directly talk to Mwananchi. We held what we call economic forums in the different counties. This economic forum focused on the hustlers. Who are these hustlers? The mama mboga, the motorbike guys, Juakali, any small business trader. That's where our focus was. And we were able to understand. They were able to share. And it was so nice because I remember I really participated for the Nairobi one, which I represent. And the people who were talking to the then deputy president, the presidential candidate, one-on-one, they were talking with him directly, and he was able also to respond to them directly by getting a feel of what are the main concerns, up and including on Shylock issues, all these Fuliza issues, all these credit manenos and all that. So it is it is at that particular point now we have what we call the experts, the economic advisors, experts who sit in State House as we speak right now, because they also participated in the feedback of what we got from the Mwananchi to the question of the finance bill and the Mwananchi. Okay? Now, out of sieving and getting to understand the concerns that are in place, let me touch on the common one that has been discussed, the housing. Yes, I have a house. Why do you need to build a house for me and things like that? Why is it 3%? It is high, this and this, this and this. Before amendment, it was capped at 2,500. Before amendment, it was also 2,500, and then the employer, another 2,500. So you as a person, then you end up 5,000. One thing I want to really thank the committee for their work and the time they've put. I really, really want to thank all Kenyans, all stakeholders who have participated in the public participation of the bill. It is so awesome. It's so grateful. Because in their participation, then we are here where we are on the amendments. We've given a platform. And that's why I've said, as KK, we have numbers. But did we chest thump and say, after all,
we have the numbers?
We have the numbers. No, we still underwent the required process of opening it up for public participation. We received amendments. 2 weeks ago, it was sounding like, everybody is rejecting. It was not rejecting. It was amendment. It was proposal. This is okay. This one adjust. This is okay. This one adjust. And that took place.
I know that this is a discussion that you politicians are having in conjunction with the media. That's really not my question.
Yes.
What the media says, reporting, analyzing, what Kenya Kwanza or Azimio say, that discussion takes place. We participate by hearing and listening. I'm asking, all these things that you are describing, does it address the problem that the Mwananchi has?
Yes, it does.
Is his cost of living being made affordable? Is he able to live, hopefully, for the next day? Fundamental, does it? The politicians say it's addressing. I'm asking, that's what I'm asking. I'm asking, does the Mwananchi feel or acknowledge it is addressing his problems?
I get your question, and I've always been me in terms of my own views, and state that right now I agree that the economic times are very tough. Mwananchi definitely will be affected. That one I agree. It is tough. We are acknowledging. And as I started, I said, it's until you accept that this is a challenge, then how will you be able to put a solution? We agree right now, Wanjiko, you and me, it is tight. We are at a tight place. But still, we have communicated. There has been discussions of, we said, within 100 days. We are not refusing. Yes, we said. I acknowledge. We say that within 100 days, this cost will have gone down. It is true. Where is the reality? Let us discuss reality. Let us discuss facts. The reality is, when we came to office, when we took office, apparently what we found is not what we expected. That's where the issue is. But did we say, we've come out and said, apparently we found empty coffers. Things are not as we expected. And so we had to change our plan. It's like any like you, and today you get some greener pastures. And in this letter, it has indicated that you're going to be given a 4-bedroom house. You'll be able to move with your family. Your kids will be paid for education, insurance, many other things, blah, blah. They provide you a car, everything. So by the time you're getting there and you have that positivity, then the management says, oops, at this moment, we'll not be able to provide the car and the education, but this other will be able to give us time, because we realize that we have a challenge here. They've been able to, what are you supposed to do? you're supposed to readjust and take your kids to the school that will be affordable. Also, be able to see which mode of transport will be able to sustain me before I get that. So that is where we are, whereby we've not been able to deliver some of the things, not all, some of the things. And remember, where we are on a long-term based solution and not short-term. We are not, Kenya Kwanza is no longer politicking. We are factual. And that is where the opposition, which I still congratulate them because they're still doing their opposition role in terms of oversighting and being able to look into what the government is doing. There's no problem. The only challenge that they're using is that they're still using the same old one-off mechanism, which is maandamano. We can't subject everything to maandamano. As I said, when you put sufuria on your head, then tomorrow with the cost of unga go down, we have to look at the other factors that bring about the cost of unga being at 200, being at 250, being at the price that it is. Which are these costs? There are other manufacturing cost of production that are behind here.
And those are the ones that are being addressed now.
Those are the ones. And how are they being addressed?
We're talking about the finance bill and what we should expect from it, as we go towards looking forward to the National Assembly debating this and seeing what amendments will be brought to the floor of the House tomorrow during the third reading.
Yeah, I think also the seriousness with which this is approached is a thing for me. Mheshimiwa, quite honestly, so last week, I mean, I was appalled, and I said to myself, it didn't matter what side you were on. 92 people not being in the assembly when such an important conversation was being had, for me, is appalling. It doesn't matter what side you're on, but if anything, it shows to the people of Kenya just how seriously this is taken. And so now here we are, and then tomorrow comes another very important day when it comes to discuss some of these matters, and the hope one would go to bed and pray all night and wake up tomorrow morning and hope that folks come back and actually take this as seriously as it ought to be taken. Excuses not warranted, or excuses not even considered of what could have possibly happened. But it goes back to my question, that how do you convince people that voted for you? How do you convince people that you take their matters seriously? Because this is what it is. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what side of the political divide you're on. It doesn't matter who is walking out in the streets and picketing and lobbying. It doesn't matter who is on the side of the executive. What matters is that the livelihoods of Kenyans are secured, that the livelihoods of Kenyans are operated within a conducive environment, that people's businesses are protected, that the very cries that Kenyans have on a daily basis then are actually guaranteed for care in that house. But unfortunately, we don't often see that. And that's that we do not. More, brick and mortar aside, all the papers and the legal team who can help you, that's great. But the spirit of representation of the people, for me, I'm sad to say that it doesn't show. It does not show. The people of Kenya who listen on a daily basis, the people who have their eyes peeled the whole day tomorrow and who are waiting for bills that you have, by the way, waiting for, they're really asking themselves, how do we know that these people are actually there representing us? How? Because the lived experience shows something totally different. It's a cry from Kenyans.
Yeah.
It needs to be heard. It needs to be addressed.
Correct. And that's why we are not tiring, and we'll be out here and talk to Kenyans. I want to start by continue by saying, I really do appreciate the Kenyans who have been paying taxes, who are paying taxes, and who will continue paying taxes. Because as our motto says about taxes in Swahili, kulipa ushuru ni kujitegemea. The question that is here today is also the value that you get after paying these taxes. Is there value? And it is a high time, yes, that any increment in that tax then needs to give mwananchi the value that they deserve. Good roads, good hospitals, and many other infrastructures in it. It is very key. The question in terms of mwananchi themselves, because it is mwananchi who put us here, something we really appreciate and much respect. And through the public participation, they've been able to come out and air their concerns. The question is on how Mwananchi is then going to benefit in regards to the communications we've had during our campaigns. Then where is Mwananchi today? You realize that, like, for example, the housing part, we've moved from 3% to 1.5%. Away from that, what are the benefits? The major benefits, one of it is job creation during the constructions of these properties and housing. At the same time, there is room for Mwananchi to be able to have better living standards of housing. As you know, we have over 1,400 slums in this country. Nairobi is largely affected or has a bigger capacity in terms of our slums. No toilets, no basics, no other social amenities within. And so the solution through the housing plan is broad. There's also going to be a business for the local suppliers, the local manufacturers. The Jua Kali people, they actually have an association, and it has been incorporated by the areas whereby the projects have, we have housing projects like in Shauri Moyo and other areas that the president has already been able to commission. And the people doing the Jua Kali jobs are able to get opportunity to supply, and then the youths are able to work there. Apart from the 5 other key benefits of the finance, of what are stated in the bill, whereby you are able to own a home, okay, you are able to transfer these funds to pension, you are able to receive the funds directly, you are able to transfer the funds, you are able to conjoin and get bigger property depending. There's the question of, now, is it a fund? Is it a tax? As it is, it's not even a tax, because tax is what then is never refundable to you, does not come back to you.
That's what it has become now.
It's not tax. So.
But
actually,
it's money.
Tax comes back to you, Mheshimiwa.
It comes
only
back
indirectly.
through indirectly, through the infrastructures and all that. But this one, you are able to access within 7 years, you are able to access that particular, it's a saving. But now it has been changed and made to sound such that it is a tax to negate and to make it look so painful and negative. Let me talk about food security. Food security, it's very key, can only be achieved through agriculture. What has the bill done? The bill has gone further and exempted tax on fertilizer, raw material on fertilizer. The bill has also exempted the cost of the pesticides. The bill has also exempted things like of course, on the medical side, vaccines in the health sector. We've also seen tax on import tax for commodities like the fish, so that we are able to promote the local, producers locally. So this bill is two-way. There's where it increases so as to benefit now back here the local Mwananchi, like the people in Western. Then their people are so much rejecting this bill, not looking at the advantage that they have as far as the cost of importation is being increased, so that people can buy the fish down here locally. So back to the on the issue of the fertilizers, is also in the budget, there's the funds for subsidy for the fertilizer, so that this can be able to help and improve on food security. At the same point, I've been able to say and state, why are we still looking at unga, and more specific, ugali, as the only food commodity that we have in this country?
Because
why is it not the high time to be able to tell our people to expand and get out of the unga issue as the only commodity? We have products like cassava, which we can be able to get unga from cassava. We have even coconut products from the coast. And today, as we speak, we have flour for coconut flour, which is like the one for chapati, the other one. We have arrowroots and many other products that can be able to be,
we agree with you.
Yeah, and we need to diversify, because as I've said, at the end of the day, these issues are all affecting us.
Mheshimiwa, we actually agree with you. The plan, the thinking, it makes sense. It is logical. It would even have made more sense as a campaign narrative. It does. It does. You see, the problems we have cannot only be solved by the government. Mm-hmm. It cannot be solved only by the politicians. It's a simple fact. Mm-hmm. They can play a very big role in it. Mm-hmm. And why I say they can play a very big role in it is, ask yourself this simple question. When something that is patently obvious and the benefits not difficult to explain, when we keep going around it in circles and people are saying, no, 1%, we don't want 1%. Housing, who told you we don't want a house? What makes you think we want? Even if I have a house, I'd like a second house, and even a third one, and even a fourth one. These are good things. We have to ask the question, mm-hmm. What are we actually dealing with here? We had the principal secretary in the Department of Housing here. He explained these things really very well. Yeah. And as I said, you cannot doubt the logic behind it. You cannot doubt that these things make sense, and you cannot doubt that there'll be benefits. So, beyond the political push against it, what else is the problem? And this is my view. The Kenya Kwanza government came in with a lot of hope and a lot of faith. It had a lot of goodwill from the Mwananchi. That goodwill is slowly being lost. When people lose goodwill, even the loveliest and the most wonderful things when proposed, people will spend more time looking for faults in that thing instead of looking at the benefits that are patent and are obvious. So the question I would ask is, how do you get people to gain the faith they had? How do you get them? Because everything that is being said on the face of it makes perfect sense.
It's a good concern in terms of the people. But you see, one thing that you're missing is what the opposition has come out hard hitting in terms of the negativity, because they are our people.
Have they come up with any solution themselves?
Nothing. Exactly. Very good question. Nothing. What they've come up is always picketing, and that is what they best do. And why are they doing that? They are doing that so that they can be able to maintain their people. They can be able to maintain their supporters in the regard that this thing is bad. So, that negativity. Why are they doing it? The reason they cannot bring solutions or even amendments, and they have not even participated in that, is so as to maintain their people. The question is then, how are we ensuring that our people are still with us and they're still trusting with us? Yeah. Have you seen any hustlers bringing concerns? The ones who have brought concerns, they have brought concerns to the committee, and we've been able to do amendments. Look at the issue of the content creators. It was at 15%. It's now at 5%. It has been reduced because there is communication. For us, we are still talking to our people, and at the same time, we have reduced the cost, the taxation figures out of the discussions that we've been able to have. So the opposition is maintaining their flock by picketing and making it sound negative in all of them. For Christ's sake, you cannot say that everything in that bill has been negative. Yes, there are those issues that in terms of percentage they were high, but as we speak today out of the amendment, they've been able to go low. Our people, as we speak, the hustlers who voted for us, we have communicated and we have mechanisms. Like, look at the gas issue.
Sorry, I have to stop you and ask you. So are you saying essentially that people who voted for you do not have an issue with the cost of living or the high cost of taxes, but they're listening to you because of what you've told them? That's the same reasoning that you could put on the other side.
What we're saying, what I've said, I've clearly said that the cost of living right now is high, and it's affecting everybody. Even us, the hustlers, everybody is affected. Mm-hmm. And why is it high? It's high because the plans that we had before elections, in terms of changing the things that we should have changed, apparently we found that the coffers were empty. There was nothing to sustain. And this was affected, of course, by the previous regime, which was the handshake government. That is what affected that. So by the time we came, it was not possible to immediately start saying that we are going to ensure that there is unga costing at 100 shillings. That was not possible. And that's why they had lost long-term decisions. The question is, at the moment, okay, things are tough. Then what are we doing? We first acknowledged and said, yes, things are tough, but the solutions that are there, they cannot be short-term. They need to be long-term for us to be able to get the long-term results in future. Because the moment the opposition wants to push us to be able to start sounding like then we lied. We did not lie. The media is also pushing to say, Kenya Kwanza, you said 100 days. Why have you not? We've tried to explain.
But you're the ones who said 100 days.
Yes, we said 100
You could have
days.
said 200.
Are we acknowledging? We could not say 200 because we did not know that this would be what we would found.
Even
But
after you got into office, you've still been telling us, miezi sita ijayo, miezi tano ijayo,
Yes.
mwezi wa kumi, mwezi wa 11. You know, you're putting timelines yourselves.
Yes.
And when mwezi wa sita comes,
Yes.
we say tuko mwezi wa sita, we
We
ask.
remind you.
We remind you.
Yes.
When mwezi wa 11 will come and
We'll
we'll ask you,
remind you.
where is UHC? We'll
Perfect
ask.
reminder. I don't have a problem with it.
So it's
And-
not about
and
media, you know, just
How do we achieve this? How do we achieve this? We're going to achieve this
By
by
delivering.
expanding the revenue collection.
Okay.
And this is where we are, by expanding revenue collection through taxation. There are two ways of getting funds by the government. Either we borrow through loans,
or we tax.
or we tax
Ourselves.
exactly. But our one of the key goals is to reduce the debt, and the way to do it is through taxing.
Is to tax.
It's going to be tough. And going back to City's proverb, when you say that the
Bracelet.
Wear
the
the
bracelet
bracelets.
is really hurting and it's cute, it's
Throw it.
beautiful and all that, there's no pain without gain also. On the other hand, it's going to be painful right now, it's going to be tough right now, but it's not going to be permanent. In future it's going to be okay. And remember, we are just first term. This is the first time for His Excellency William Ruto. And like any other
And we want
president, of course we would want more, we would want second term.
Time is up.
How can we be able to achieve this? We can be able to achieve this by giving Kenyans what we promised them we are going to give within the
Spice up your life.
5 years.
Thank you for joining us today. It's Tabitha Mutinda Munene, Senator and Vice Chair of the Finance and Budget Committee of the Senate. Thank you for tuning in to Kenya's biggest conversation. It's been an interesting one.
Spice.